Hi everyone, happy weekend to you, happy Sunday. How was your week? Hope you had a fantastic week. Welcome back again to Bearable channel, and I remain your host, Bearable King. As usual, every weekend we do our analysis to review the market and look at what we're expecting the market to do for the next week. Last week, I didn't do any analysis on purpose because I needed to rest. I've been trading for a while and I needed to do some checkup. I was in and out of the hospital from 2 weeks ago, and last week I needed to take a break from the charts. It's important to take breaks from the charts. You can't keep trading every day because at some point in time you won't be able to make logical decisions. Okay, so we are in the last week of this month. July has been good for me. I don't know about you. I've been able to meet my targets for the month. That was the reason why I actually had to even take the break, because there was no need for me to push myself further than I've already done. I've seen a lot of traders online, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere, and they keep breaking their records. Today they did $500,000, tomorrow they do $1 million, and they keep pushing. In the book on psychology, about money, I think Money and Happiness, I can't really remember the name right now. There was a chapter on when enough is enough. You need to know when you have enough from the market. The fact that you have access to the market doesn't mean that you have to trade continuously and keep trading, because all the money you're making from the market, you can't take them anywhere. At some point in time, it's going to be in excess. So just make enough for yourself and be contented. It helps you to manage your greed as well. All right. For those that have asked, I'm doing the market analysis. So first and foremost, let's look at the calendar. What we can see here right now shows us that we should expect a lot of news this week. This week has a lot of news, and there's something that happens when we have news. There are opportunities to manipulate the market in the favor of market makers. So if you were to ask me, if you've been profitable this week, I would encourage you not to trade. But if you are not profitable and you see an opportunity, then you can actually trade and take advantage of the market. But for now, try to reduce the risk you take and the number of trades you take from the market, because there are going to be a lot of news this week. As we can see here, on Monday we have a lot of news on euro from France to Germany. Then they have the flash manufacturing. Then on Tuesday we have news on euro and USD. Small news, so Tuesday should be a good day for the technicals. On Wednesday we have news on USD. Please note this time, 7 p.m., 7:30. I would encourage you, minimize your risk if you're trading around that period. If you're trading and you're in profit, close the trades and take your profit. A bird in hand is better than two on the tree. All right, and for the naughty guys, one boobs in the hand is better than two in bra. So don't say, oh, the news will move in my favor. The news may not move in your favor. When you're trading and there's a high impact news coming out, it's usually a 50-50 chance, because you're not sure what the market is going to do. Okay, now on Thursday we have news on euro. Then around 1:30 we have news on USD. Aside from that, on Friday we have news on euro and we have news on USD. So if you would ask me, I would say trade pounds US dollar, because you can see that pounds news this week is going to be minimal. But you have euro. Euro too doesn't really move based on news, because Europe is a collection of several countries together. So one country cannot just move the market like that, but it could also influence it though. Then USD. This would have been a good time to trade gold, but I want to encourage you to take that risk. Okay, I want to encourage you to take that risk. Before we delve into the charts, please, if you are not subscribed, please ensure to click the subscribe button, then also set the alarm so that you could see what we're releasing. And now I'd like to go into the charts. Okay, the charts are very, very important because the chart tells us what to expect from the market technically. I was looking at Bitcoin earlier today. No, I've actually been looking at Bitcoin for a while because for me, I see Bitcoin as an investment platform for me. Okay, now this is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. You can see that Bitcoin came to this level because this was a key weekly monthly level here, 16.5, and it has moved up to 30,000. Right now, a lot of people are watching the market to see what will happen if the price should break below this point. If the price should break below this point, it simply means that the price may come back down to this 15,000. However, if this does not happen, let's say for example the price comes here. Let me take this off. So if the price comes here, right, and it bounces up, then we know it has broken into this area, then we can expect it to move up towards 47,000. But if that does not happen, we may see the market break below this point. If it creates a new low below 25,000, say the price comes to 24,000, then we may expect it to come back down to 15,000 before we have a bullish move. But for me, right now is not a good time to buy and keep Bitcoin. But if you're trading it as an asset or you're using it as a means of exchange, that's good for you. So I'm just putting this out there for you to know what I'm expecting. Now here we can see this here is a resistance, right? And we have a resistance here because the price broke this level and came up here. Here at 25 was a good point to buy, and now it's here. My problem with this is, in as much as the market is moving, the market has not broken through. Rather, what we have is an expanding triangle. Okay, what we have here is an expanding triangle. So what I'm looking at is a possibility of this price falling, say maybe to this point. But if care is not taken, bearing in mind that this is also a rejection here, right? If this all right, bear in fact that this is a rejection here. If the price comes down here, we want to see what the price will do somewhere around here, whether it will go up and break above. But if the price should get to this point, break below, then it may come back to retest this point before we see an upward move. I don't know who I'm doing this for. I don't know who is interested in Bitcoin that I'm doing this for, but well, this is what I'm expecting on Bitcoin. Let's go back to our chart and not get distracted, okay? All right, fantastic. Yes, before I continue, that's the Telegram page. All you need to do is go to Telegram, type at Bearbull FX free, and you would have access to the channel. On the channel, I post chats during the week. I post free signals every month, at least 500 pips, and my analysis are updated via chat during the week. What we are doing now is a video. The next time I'm going to be doing a video will be next weekend, but during the week I update the chat and say, okay, this is an opportunity here, this is an opportunity here. If you're in here, get out. Just give advices to my friends that are on my channel. Okay, so this is gold as usual, our first trade, and we spoke that we were expecting an inverse move here here, here. The market then came down here, and from here, because we spoke about this level being the order block and we had the 61.8 fib level, I mentioned that we're expecting the market to pull up, which the market has done nicely to this point. Now the price is here, and the price did a bit of rejection on Friday evening. However, I'm expecting that the price may still come down to this point, which is around 1937. And if the price should come here, I'll be looking for a break here. This break would confirm the inverse head and shoulder for the new high, and the new high that we're looking at is somewhere around here. Okay, it's somewhere around here. How did I get that point? Simple. Applying Fibonacci, we had a rejection at 61.8 fib level, so I'm expecting it to come to the extension of 61.8 fib level, which is around 2024. Okay, so we may have a pullback to this point and then an upward move up here. Okay, now let me take this off. Aside from that, if I draw a trend line from this low here and I touch this, then you can see that there's still room for a downward movement, right? Meaning that this price could still come down to this area before doing what? Moving upwards. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting on the daily time frame. This is what I'm expecting on the daily time frame, and because I'm expecting this on the daily time frame, I know that there are rooms for pullback. This pullback, this sell pullback is it's a counter trend trade. Okay, it's a counter trend trade, which I really don't like trading counter trend, so I'd rather wait for the price to come around this 1938, 1928 region before I look for a buy, because I would like to swing gold. Now, yeah, so we had a descending triangle on this side, and now we had this push up. We have a fair value gap. If you don't know about fair value gap, please go and read up on it. I've learned over time that it could be crucial when it comes to trading. It's something that one should pay attention to. All right. I wanted to do something earlier, and I wanted to apply a bit of Fibonacci to this chart. Okay, so I'm going to take my Fibonacci count right now. So we had a move here, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, this was an impulsive move that just got completed. Okay, this was an impulsive move that just got completed. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is to know what to expect from the market. And since we had the impulsive move completed, the next thing we'll be looking for is a corrective move. Okay, now we have this, we have one, I'm expecting a pullback, then 2. Okay, so after we have this, then let me just move this here. We may now expect an upward movement like this. Now, I'm trying to make it as simple as I can. Why am I doing this? I'm saying we had a bullish move up. We're going to have a corrective move down. After the corrective move down, then we'll have an impulsive continuation. And this impulsive continuation may come to this area. Okay, you see that was quite close. So it may come to this area. So what am I saying? Expect a corrective move this week, and this week being a week filled with a lot of USD news, we may see a lot of manipulation to the top and to the bottom. So be careful, mark the key areas, mark like this FVG, mark this area, look for your entry somewhere around here when you get a confirmation to buy long term. Don't rush into the sell. Before this market comes down, it may come up to this top before coming down. So if you're going to trade it, reduce the risk you're going to trade this market with. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody, but the choice is ultimately yours because it's your capital. Okay, let's delve into 4 hours time frame to see what to expect from the market. Now on the 4-hour time frame, I posted this in the group, and I did mention that because the price was here, we took our profit around here last week, and then the price pulled back to this point and did what? Pushed up to this next top point here. You can see here, right? This is the major move after the market came from here, right? The market came from here to this point, and then from here we had an internal move here before the market now fell down to this point. But what happened here? The market ran straight for this point. Okay, and now that the market has done this week, we may have the internal move somewhere around here before the market now eventually drops down to this area. Okay, and what I told people on my channel was look for only buys down here. All right, look for only buys down here, and the reason why I said look for buys down here is because we know that the trend is bullish and the trend is our friend. Yes, there are opportunities to sell. At least anybody that took a sell from this top 181 here would have held with a drawdown of about 70 pips and would have made roughly about ×3 of what he is risking. Okay, but this market might have also pushed up directly because I don't control the market. Nobody knows what the market is doing. We only speculate, and our speculation is based on the repetitive patterns that we observe the market do. For example, I'm expecting the market to range because I can see a range here. So being the last week, we may see the market be choppy somewhere around here before the swift push down and then the upward movement. Okay, so if you ask me, I would say be careful. Don't rush in to sell. If it's possible, wait for a nice rejection somewhere around here, around 1930, 1925. When you see your candlestick confirmation on the 4-hour time frame, then you take a buy. It is safer that way, and most times it's better to be safe than to be sorry. Okay, so we've had our corrective move, we've had all that. The next thing I want to do now is to move to pounds USD. As you all know, after gold I normally look at pounds. All right, now pounds USD, as I said, should be a good pair to trade, and the reason why I'm looking at it as a good pair to trade is simply because we have an upward movement. We had a corrective move here, 1 2 3 4 5. One that happened, the price broke above, then the price came here to reject, and then the price has pushed upwards. Okay, the price has pushed upwards. Now right now the price has come back to this previous resistance point, and we have something like a doji here. So it is possible that this price may push up from here. At the same time, it is possible that the price may just pull back a little and fall down to this area. Okay, let me zoom out a bit so that you see what I'm talking about. Okay, so right here is where we have an order block, but this has already been filled up. So it is not important that this price will come back down to this point. And Mind you, these yellow lines or these yellow zones are the weekly zones, while this blue zone is the monthly zone. So the price still has room to move upwards to this area. This part was marked about 2 weeks ago. If you check my video 2 weeks ago, you would have noticed that I spoke about this area here, and also I spoke about it last week that I'm expecting the price to test this point. No, oh, sorry, there was no video last week. So 2 weeks ago, I spoke about it that the price should get to this area, which it got there nicely and then did a nice rejection to the downside the whole of last week. Now from here, we could have a bounce to the upper side because we had a rejection here. It came down here. This was a resistance area, like a step. It broke out of it, came to retest it. Here, it respected this resistance as a support. So there's a possibility that we may have an upward movement here. But next week, we're going to be sure about this depending on the candlestick we're going to have here. We want to have a bullish candlestick here to know that, okay, the market is going upwards. Now, if you've studied fair value gap, we have one around here. We have a fair value gap here. All right, we have a fair value gap here. Oops, sorry about that. We have a fair value gap here, right? We have a fair value gap here. Now, what this fair value gap simply means is this price may pull up into the zone, right, and then drop down here. Now, the reason why I'm expecting it to come down here is because we currently have a trend line here that's been respected the first time, the second time. Now the third time is the best time to trade a trend line, okay, because you have a low here, you have a high here, you have a higher low, then you have this is the higher high because the price didn't come back to test this. So it is possible that the price may come back here to retest this area close to the other block and then do what? Move upwards. But for now, we may see a bullish move into this FVG zone. Okay, I'm going to take this off, right, and then we will check the next chart for 4-hour time frame. All right, now this is the 4-hour time frame. This is the current overall trend line as marked previously, and the price is here right now. I'm expecting the price to pull up a bit and touch this point. So I'm going to the 4-hour time frame, right? Now on the 4-hour time frame, what we have here is that this current trend line here has been broken. If you remember, this was when the price bounced off here at 50 pip, and I said the price was going to push up. The price did a pullback here, and this is where we took our buy that we rode it all the way to the top. Now what has happened is the price did like a double top here, like an M formation, and then dropped. Okay, now it has broken this trend line, which tells me that because it has broken this trend line, there is a possibility, you know what they call break, retests, continuation. Okay, that is a price action strategy. Okay, so it has broken this point, and here we can see something like a railroad track right here. Now because of this railroad track, I'm anticipating that the price may pull up a bit into this FVG 4-hour, into this other block zone, and then come down to this trend line. Okay, so what am I saying? I'm expecting that from here we may have a bullish move upwards towards 1.304, which is roughly about 200 pips from where the price is at the moment. Then from here we may have the price drop towards this area, which is around 1.274, and then we may have the bullish continuation from here. Okay, we may have the bullish continuation from here. But what will happen is what we see on Monday. If we have a bullish candlestick on Monday, then we can expect the push up. But if we have a bearish candlestick that pushes it down, then we may expect it to continue coming down. Monday is not really a time to rush into the market or trade heavily in the market. Okay. Now, for that clarification, I'm going to the 1 hour to show you something. Now, on the 1 hour time frame, what we have here is a falling wedge setup. Okay, this is a falling wedge setup. So it's quite simple. All we need to do is watch what would happen next week, or tomorrow, sorry, tomorrow. So if we have the price do something like this, come down here, maybe during Asian session, then the price breaks out here. We'll wait for the price to come back and retest this point, and then from here we'll look for a buy to this point. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about right here. Okay, so what we'll be looking for is based on candlestick confirmation, say somewhere around here. If you have an engulfing candlestick, we'll be looking for a buy to this area, while our stop loss will be below the candlestick confirmation. Okay, so for now we're going to wait for this setup to manifest itself. What we're expecting a breakout of this wedge, then we'll look for the areas of possible retest so that we can take a long-term buy. Okay, but till that happens, we're going to sit on our hand. So we're expecting a pullback on the 4-hour time frame and daily time frame, and the market is showing us signs that that may be what will happen based on the falling wedge on the 1-hour time frame. So if we see this, we'll just take advantage of this. This is roughly about 200 pips setup, and you're risking maybe about 40-50 pips. If you get a 200 pips setup in a week, it should be enough for you that week. So one trade this week may be enough to cover what you need to do. You don't need to risk too much on your account. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting for pounds US dollar. And finally, we have the euro US dollar. Okay, this is the euro US dollar. We had a bit of a range here. We had an up, down, and up. Okay, then what happened? The price pulled back a bit to this point and then retested this point, came down, and then came here. When it got here, I told people to close, and the reason why I told people to close was because we had a Fibonacci setup. Okay, now what happened here? The price taught the Fibonacci level 79 fib and came to the extension 127.2, which was here, and then we closed out. So for people who took this buy, you would have enjoyed it to this point and you'd have gotten out. Then people who took a sell, well, congratulations. I didn't give a sell because I wasn't available last week. Okay, now for this move, I just want to show you how a falling wedge works. Okay, I'm taking the body of the candle here. All right, you can see this falling wedge. So when a falling wedge sets up, you can see that once it breaks out, the movement is usually upwards. This is the kind of setup I'm expecting on the 4-hour time frame as well. Okay, let me remove the Fibonacci. Now, what am I expecting for this market at the moment? Right now, we have an upward push to this high. We had this point as a resistance. We had this point as a resistance. So what I'm expecting right now is that this price may pull back a little. You know, there's a gap here. May pull back to a little to this area and then fall back into this resistance. But now it will serve as a support for it to actually move up into the monthly range zone. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting on Euro USD this week. Now, it is also possible that this price may break below this trend line somewhere here, pull here, come down here. This is a deep retracement and then move upwards. Okay, but what we should expect first is a pull back here and then a drop to this trend line somewhere around here. Then from here, based on the candlestick confirmation, we'll be looking for a buy to the higher side. And if the price breaks below, we know that it could still pull back to this overall trend line. The reason why we do this is to see all the possibilities that the market could create for us. Okay, all right, fantastic. Now this is the market on the daily, but a different view. So we had a descending triangle here and the market broke out here, and I'm looking at what the market could do on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so this is the 4-hour time frame. Let me zoom out a bit. Now we have a fair value gap here on the 4-hour time frame, which was what I was talking about. We had a nice rejection here. You can see this curve move. So what am I expecting? I'm anticipating that this market may pull up like this, somewhere around here, give the rejection, and then do what? Come down to this key area. So from this key area, we want to be watching for an upward movement around here. Okay, now this is the 4-hour time frame. So this is the overall trend line on the 4-hour time frame, which is the current what's it called on the daily time frame, current trend line on the daily time frame. All right, so I'm expecting that when this price pulls up to this area, say somewhere around here, you know, just pulls back a little to this point, then we may have a sell to this area, and then from here we may see a bullish push. Okay, now I'm expecting this area because this was the last high on this trend line, right? This was the last high on this trend line. Okay, and since this was the last high, this market may do this, come here, and then give us a bullish push like this. Okay, so if you're going to buy, you need to look for a confirmation on the lower time frame that the market wants to pull back before you buy. Okay, and when you get your confirmation that the market pulls back and wants to buy, when you get to this point, take your profit and look for a rejection. Once you see a rejection, take a sell, be observing it till it gets to the previous low. If it breaks the previous low, then you know that it's coming down to this area. Okay, so these are the things I'm expecting for this week. Let me zoom in a bit into the 1-hour time frame. All right, so on the 1-hour time frame, we have this here, right? We had the market move up, and after the market moved up, we had an upward trend here, right? So the upward trend was broken somewhere around here. It was broken somewhere around here, but I didn't pick this as a proper break because we had a weak low here. All right, so what now happened was this market actually broke it here. This is the proper break here, so this is the right pullback for me. And when I draw my trend line, I usually like drawing it based on the line chart and not candlestick, but I also respect the channel. So what I do most of the time is I clone it to that point. Okay, now what we've had is we had the market fall. So right now we have something like a falling wedge setting up right here. I would like to see this market break out of it, something like this, come down here, right, break up here, come back here, then push the market up somewhere around here. Then from here I'll be looking for what? A drop to the lower side. Okay, so what I've done now is I've given you a breakdown on gold, GU and EU. And for the EU, what I'm looking at is a pullback, then a sell. For gold, I'm looking at a possible pullback and a sell as well. And for GU, I'm also looking for a possible pullback and a sell as well. So I'm looking for a pullback, and then from here we could be looking for a sell as well. All right, so I'm expecting a pullback to this area, then a sell. All right, same as EU. All right, same as EU. And for gold, this is gold. I'm looking at gold right here. We had a range here, right? Then a pullback before a push up. Now the market is coming down. It is possible that gold may come down to this point and give us a head and shoulder pattern down to this point before the upward move. All right, I don't know if that makes sense to you. So what happens is you do your analysis on the higher time frame, mark key areas, look for chart patterns. Look, if you're trading SMC, you look for things like FVG, liquidity, other blocks and the likes. And when you see those kind of setups, what you now do is you go to lower time frame to find confirmations. So right now I'm looking at gold. Gold may drop to say 147, 146, then pull back to 165, and based on the rejection from there, we may see a drop to 132 region, and from here we'll be looking for a buy as planned on the higher time frame. And gold has also shown us that we're expecting maybe the drop is not complete on gold, so it may drop, pull back, then sell, and then buy all over again. While for EU and GU, we're expecting a pullback now as a buy, then a drop as a sell, then a buy. So all in all, we're still overall bullish on all the pairs on the higher time frame, but currently we're expecting a pullback, a sell pullback. But even before that sell pullback happens, we're expecting a minor buy to cover up the spaces that have been created during the week. Okay, all right, so that will be all for now. I hope that the month of July was profitable for you. August, we have what we call summer trading, and during summer trading it's not really a good time to trade because during this period there's usually low liquidity. All right, there's usually low liquidity during this period, and for that reason I usually don't encourage people to trade. But if you decide that you want to trade that period, all well and good. So August, we may see less action from me. All right, okay, so that being said, I'd like to end here today. Happy month end in advance, and please ensure that you join the Telegram channel so that you could get live updates from me as we trade this week. Till next week, I remain Bearable King. Do have a lovely trading week ahead. Bye bye.